Hi and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Phil, I'm the Ordinary Watch Guy. I'm very ordinary, but the watches are always special. Now, this week I'm going to offer you another watch review, this time from the UK's youngest microbrand, Bvor. When I say it's the youngest company out there, I don't mean that in terms of how old the company is. What I mean is that two of the founding partners actually began this journey as teenagers. Oliver Smith and Henry Johnson were actually in school when they began this journey into watch production. I've spent time talking with Henry, and his passion and his determination are very clear indeed. Together with Nurul Alam, they've created Bvor, a watch company full of aspiration, trying to leave their mark on the British microbrand base. Today, I've got the new Bvor Vision in blue to review, and it retails for €700 or about £599. It's a very big ask to enter the watch space at that kind of a price point. Can Bvor pull it off? And has this watch got what it takes? Well, let's get into it. So this watch is quite striking in appearance. You're talking about a statement piece that really isn't going to be very shy on your wrist at all. It's not a dive watch, it's not a tool watch, and it's not what I'd call a dress watch either. The design language is somewhere between a Cartier Santos XL and, dare I say it, something like an Hublot Big Bang or Spirit of the Big Bang. Hublot is an immediate no-no to many people in the watch sphere, but I haven't said that meaning it to be a slap. The watch market belongs to the muggles. Now, that's why Hublot outsells the likes of Breguet, and they make nearly 60,000 watches per year. And in fact, Morgan Stanley ranked them as 12th overall in a list of the most popular brands based on sales volumes, ahead of Jaeger-LeCoultre, Tag Heuer and Tudor. There's a lot of very successful watch companies out there that would love to be selling the numbers that Hublot sell on a daily basis, and they'd love to be recording the profitability that Hublot demonstrates in the market at all times, even if Hublot are not Rolex, Cartier or Omega. This being said, I think this design is canny enough to straddle towards Cartier, and that's a little bit more traditional. It has quite a lot of the Hublot swagger about it, but it also sensibly nods in the direction of the Santos, an ever popular watch from the early 20th century. So are we looking at a clever fusion of the classic and the modern here? I think that your opinion on the design language is going to make all the difference as to whether or not you think that you buy the Bvor Vision or not. And again, as with many Hublot customers, dare I say it, I don't really think it will be about what is under the hood. But that being said, I'll give you a rundown of some of the specifications anyway. This watch is built on a Miyota premium automatic movement, the 9015. This is a popular movement that is highly reliable, not top end. We're not talking about COSC certification here or anything like that, but it's a very popular microbrand workhorse that offers hacking seconds and accuracy to a very respectable -10 to +30 seconds a day. You can think of it of a small step up from the common NH35 Seiko that is commonly utilized in many microbrand watches. You'll find this movement in watches from Citizen, Zelos and many reputable others. 42 hours of power reserve is decent. It's shock resistant. It runs at 28,800 beats per hour, giving you a pretty smooth sweep of that seconds hand around the dial. The watch itself weighs just a touch over 100 grams on a leather strap. It has a flat sapphire crystal and is 11.5 millimeters thick. I think the watch feels kind of a little bit more prominent because of the square case, maybe a little bit more chunky on the wrist as a consequence. But I think for some, that's exactly what they'd buy a watch like this for. It's definitely not what you're looking for. If you're in the market for a Zenith Elite or a Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Ultra Thin, this will not sneak under a cuff politely. The blue colouring of the case is not a coating. It won't scratch off. It is actually part of the metal colour. If you scratch this watch, stainless steel will not glare through at you. You won't get that bright stainless steel, or worse yet, have flakes start to fall off in chunks. Part of the price you're paying is the quality of that production. The case size is pretty big, 40 millimeters top to bottom, 42 millimeters left to right. The lug width is 22 millimeters with a 53 millimeter distance between the lugs themselves across your wrist. You do need to have a reasonably substantial wrist in order to carry this watch off. It does not wear small. Watch itself arrives on a matching blue leather strap, soft calf leather underneath, tough alligator print leather over the top. This is matched with a matching blue pin buckle. Flip the watch over and Bvor have opted for a round porthole style exhibition caseback, and I'll be critical here. In my tastes, the circle is somewhat antagonistic to the overall square design and presentation of this watch and leaves a lot of real estate, and I don't think it's used particularly well. There is a custom rotor on the mechanism, but I'm sorry, I don't think the mechanism overall is much to look at, and thoughts and opinions on that may differ, of course. I'll remind you that the whole package is set to retail for £599 in the UK. The more conservative versions are available in all black, brushed silver and polished stainless steel. I note that the stainless steel variants are £50 less expensive. I'll be profoundly honest in my summary here. It's not for me. But that being said, I don't think this watch was ever conceived with me in mind. It's been designed by a very young team, and I think it reflects very young tastes. And it feels like a younger man's watch. Saying this is not for me is not writing the watch off, but I do think it might exclude a big section of the watch buying market and perhaps the more affluent section of the watch buying market. And this is something that Hublot have had to confront, and they decided it could be done, and they've done it. I'm interested to know if it can happen in the Microbrand segment as well. If I was starting a Microbrand, or I was poised somehow to launch a range of ordinary watch guy pieces, I probably wouldn't have the guts to do it with a watch that's as brave as this, that's as selective of its audience. And additionally, I'd probably try to persuade people to part with £350 before I tried to get them to give me £600. These are the main reasons why I think Bvor have got a struggle ahead of them. But I could be wrong. £600 puts you in the Shark Tank with some pretty compelling watches. Just thinking off the top of my head, you've got the Marlowe Watch Company, you've got Unimatic, and you've got Mr. Jones watches. Now, there's three there that are three of my favourites. They all put their own unique spin on what you get for your money. I'd also mention that in mainstream terms, £600 puts you within kissing distance of the ever popular Tissot PRX and the fabulous Powermatic 80 Movement. In fact, this one will cost you £610 at MSRP. So what do you make of the Bvor Vision? Are you the target market, and do you want to know more about this piece? What would be your Microbrand best buy at £600? And do you think that this watch would make your list? As always, I'm super grateful that you've watched my video, and I'm hugely grateful to Henry and the guys at Bvor for sending me their watch to review in such a no-holds-barred way. I will not be keeping this watch, and I'll be returning it to them directly. If you'd like to help me build this channel, click subscribe and give me a like. It makes a huge difference to me, and that's all the thanks I need for doing what I do. But in the meanwhile, why not catch one of my previous videos? I'll be back soon with another one. Bye for now, guys.